Okay, so domain and range from ordered pairs. So the first thing that you need to remember is domain is the input. And in general, when we're talking equations or points, it will be the x coordinate. The range is the output, and generally the y values. Now, for these problems, you do need to use the braces, meaning that we're talking a set of answers. So if you just list your points and don't use the braces, it will be marked wrong. So make sure you start with the set notation, so the braces. So domain, I just need to list all of the x's. In math later on, we like to have them in order, but from smallest to largest. But in this case, we're just going to go straight down and list all of the x's as we see them. The range, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use the braces for that, and then we're going to list them as we see them. And 8. Now, if there were any of them in either set that repeat, we would only have to type it once, but we should see that in another example. So this is what we do. We're going to check. And we have it right, and we are going to finish this topic. So we're going to do another one, see if we end up with any repeats. Remember, domain is all of the x's. So make sure that you're paying attention because it will sometimes flip those around. So domain is the x's. We're just going to list them as we see them. So 2, 1, 6. And the next one is a 6. I've already typed it, so I don't need to type it again in this one. So I can, but it's not necessary, so we don't want to do any of the repeats in this. So this is a relation, meaning we're comparing the x's and the y's, any two things we're comparing. If it is a function, then there would be no repeats in the domain. So this is not a function because those 2 6s. All right, so now the range, we're just going to type the y's as we see them, and we have 1, and we have a, and we have, wrong button, a, and we have 0, and we have C. So they can be anything that we've put in there as the y coordinate. It can be letters, numbers, that kind of stuff. So we're going to check this one. If I would have put the 2 6s, it still would have counted it correct, but it would have told me that you don't have to write the repeats. All right, so last one that we're going to do of this. Remember, we need our the braces. So before we put our answers to the domain, we're going to put the x's. Don't forget your commas. And then the range, we're going to put our y's. So -6. There's a second -6, so I'm not going to type it again. So we don't care if the range repeats, but so this is a function because the x's are all the same. The y's can all be the same, or they can change, or anything like that. For it to be just a function. There's special cases of functions, but in that case, we're just looking at the x's and the y's, the domain and range.